So we are going to try and put chords to a melody, and I thought about it and I didn't realize it was fairly difficult to find a real simple song using nice chords that are going to be easy to play in a key that's going to be kind of easy to understand, and with sort of the limitations of a ukulele, you really only have like those three strings, because this string here, the G, is sort of in between these two. So pitch-wise. So what I'm saying is that this string doesn't really give us a wider range of notes. The strings, it's just two. That's it. And then the other two are in the middle note-wise. But I was hoping for something in the key of C, because that's really easy. But what ends up happening is a lot of them have a melody note that's here, and not only is the melody then sort of buried in the chord, but that C chord, you end up with really what's called the C5 chord. It's missing a note. It's just the root note and what's called the 5 note. So you end up with just C and G. So a C and a C and a G, the exact same note. So you really only end up with 2 C's and 1 G. And that's not quite as full sounding as, because there you have the E. So you have the 3 notes needed for the C major chord. So anyway, that's a real long roundabout way to say that I did find a song, and it's in the key of A major. So we'll kind of work with that. So I was thinking, Oh MacDonald, nice and easy on a ukulele in the key of A. Lots of open strings, so that makes it nice and easy to play the melody as well as chords. Okay, so the melody, really simple. So 0 on the A string, the E string 0, 2, 2, 0, then back to the A, 4, 4, 2, 2, 0, and then just repeats that. Now it's the E string, A string, E, A, 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 then the beginning again. Okay, so that is the melody for the song. Really simple. So if I play it and you can play along. Actually, I'll count it in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there you go. That's the melody. Nice and easy. So now let's figure out how we can introduce some chords to that. Okay, and again, we want to keep the melody and we want to also add the chords. So we don't just want to go and just strum chords, because now the melody, it really doesn't exist. Because, you know, the part, okay, if that was just, there's no melody there, so it's the wrong chords, but you get the idea. So the first thing we need to do is take a look at what key we're in, okay? And A major, but how did I come up with that? So first what I could do is I could look at it and say, okay, well, it has notes A, it has an E, it has an F sharp, it has a C sharp, it has a B, and I think that's it. So if I looked at all of those, and since I already know how this all works, I look at all of that and I say, okay, well, what key has an A, a B, a C sharp, an E, and an F sharp? Well, okay, that would be A major, because then it would also have the G sharp. Yeah, the G sharp. So that's how I came up with it. Okay, but there's, I think that's the easiest way, because I know, okay, all of the information, all of the things I need to know. But there's an easier way if you don't know all of that, okay, and it's you can just play it and listen. The starting note, the root note, the note that's the name of the key, is going to, if you listen for it, it's going to become really obvious what it is. Okay, so if we play it, okay, first notice that we start on 3 A notes. A, A. So if we take just that little bit, okay, because the other part, all of that stuff, it has the E in the A, which is also in that little bit that I just played, the starting part. So if we take that starting part, it has all the notes that we need for this song. Okay, so what we're looking for is, what we're listening for is, what note does it seem to come to rest on? What note does it seem to end on? So if I play it, okay, and get kind of silly with it, but doesn't sound like it ended at all, did it? Even if I play it again, it still doesn't sound like it ended. If I go to the next note, it sounds a little more like it ends, but still not great. It doesn't sound like it's finished. So let's continue. Like, that's terrible. Okay, now that note is really strong that it isn't finished. Like, we need to have that. Now it sounds complete. Okay, you could easily say, well, it sounds that way because in the song that's where there's a pause. Okay, that's true. But why is there a pause there? Because that's where it sounds like it somewhat ends. Okay, so if I just play those notes, okay, that was some completely different melody using those same notes, and it still sounds like it ends on that note, which is an A. So sounds like it ends. Sounds like it ends. Kind of try playing around with those notes. The A, the B, the C sharp, the E string, the E, and the D. Okay? Pretty much no matter how you play around with it, it ends up sounding like it finishes on that A. Okay? So that really tells us that this is in the key of A. It is A. Okay, so the key of A, obviously the A chord. Now let's start trying to add some of these chords in. Okay, so okay, that sounds good. Okay, even that E, because when you play the A chord, that open E string is part of that chord anyway. 2, 1, 0, 0. 0 on the E string. Okay, now something happens there. Okay, if I add that note, the second fret on the E string, to the A chord, we end up with an F sharp minor chord. Okay, which sounds nice. That totally works. Okay, the only problem is Old MacDonald doesn't really sound like we want a minor chord in there. It sounds a little sad. And Old MacDonald is kind of a happy song. So maybe we don't want that note there. Okay? So what note is that note? If you aren't familiar with the notes on the ukulele, then you definitely want to get familiar with them. Okay, so on the E string, the open string is E. The second fret is a D. Okay, so we have, so that D. What chord do we want to put there? Okay, we already discovered we could put an F sharp minor chord there. An F sharp minor chord contains the notes F sharp, A, and F sharp, A, and C sharp. I'm sorry, that's not a D note. That's an F sharp note. Okay, sorry. That's an F sharp note. So, yeah. Okay, it's an F sharp. So the F sharp minor, okay, that's why I was like, hold on. F sharp, A, and C sharp. Okay, the F sharp minor chord works. F sharp. Okay, but I don't know if we want that minor chord. Okay, it sounds nice. Those two chords go together completely. Okay, why do they go together? Because the F sharp minor chord is in the key of A. It uses notes that the A major chord, that the A major scale uses. Okay, so it totally works. But what might work instead? F sharp. So the notes in A major are A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. So the D, if we used the notes D, I'm sorry, the F sharp, did it again. If we use the notes D, F sharp, and A, we have a D major chord. So that F sharp note is part of the D major chord. So that totally could work. So let's try it. I like it. So that's what we're going with. So A, D, A. And that's that first little bit. Okay. Then the next part, so that note is a C sharp, and the A chord contains a C sharp in it. So that totally works. An A chord is A, C sharp, E. I like it. This note here is a B, so we end up with an A major add 2. Yeah. I'm not in love with that chord. Let's find something else to do with that B. So the B chord, we could do B major. So, no, we couldn't do B major because B major is B, D sharp, and we have the D chord, we don't have a D sharp, we have a D. So we can't do that, it doesn't match, okay? And you might say, well, why doesn't it match? Okay, I'll give you an example. So that's a D, okay? And if we add a D sharp to it, I'll have to do the D there. So add a D sharp to it. Okay, so 2 Ds. Okay, here, that sounds nice. Okay, now I'm going to add a D sharp. Not so good. So D and D sounds nice. A D and a D sharp played at the same time. Not so good. Good. Not so good. Good. Not so good. Good. Not so good. Okay? So we can't have a D and a D sharp. Doesn't work. The reason it doesn't sound good is the D sharp, one of the reasons it doesn't sound good, is the D sharp isn't in the key of A major. It's not a note that the A major scale uses. It's not used in this song, it's not used in this key. So we can't really do that. That's a lovely chord, an E major 7. But I don't think you want to do that either. So an E major chord is E, G sharp, E, G sharp, B. So it uses that B. So an E major chord. So we end up with I like it. So practice that a little bit. Now, so we did that. We end up with A chord, D chord, A chord. A chord with that C sharp on the 4th fret. E chord, and then just the single note. And then the A chord. Then it plays it again. And there we are. Now we go to the next part. The what's a good animal? I'm looking around my wife's little office. So that's a little one of the Chip and Dale characters. I think this one was Dale. Pumbaa from The Lion King. So he's like a warthog, like a wild pig. So oink oink, there we are. So with an oink oink here and an oink oink here. Okay, so we have that part. So that note is an E. So do you want to do that? So with although it works, I don't really like the sound of it. So what we're doing with some of these where I talk about the chord and I go, okay, that chord works. It fits. It's okay. It's just now a matter of, do we like the sound of that chord right there? Okay, it's not a wrong chord. It's a correct chord. But do we like it? Sort of like on a pizza. Okay? If you go into any pizza place, they're going to have a list of toppings, okay, that you can put on a pizza. So on that list, there will be things like pepperoni, extra cheese, maybe sausage or meatballs, maybe peppers, maybe onions, lots of different things. There will be things like anchovies. There will be things like pineapple. So some people may say, like, ew, I don't like anchovies, that's gross. But it still goes on a pizza, just you may not like it. That's what we're doing here, okay? So the E chord fits with, right? With, okay, you can hear the note in there. We just may go, I don't really like that. So what else can we do with that E note? Using the chords, the notes in A major, which again, you know, the A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, yes. E major works. It has an E in it. C sharp minor, C sharp, E, G sharp. So C sharp minor. It works again. I don't really like it. So then the only other basic chord that contains the note E in the key of A major is the A chord. It's A, C sharp, E. So I guess we're going to go with that. Then so it goes do, do, E, E, A are the notes of the melody. E, E, A. So that A, our options for the key of A major are an A chord, an F sharp minor chord, or a D chord. Also contains an A. So let's try them and see. Okay, I'm already on the D, so, well, actually I have to change it because we have the A. For the da 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 da. See how it fits? It fits, I just don't like it there. Let's try the F sharp minor. I like that even worse. I like that even less. So we're back to A. I guess it's A all the way through that section. It's, you know, as much as I'd like to put a cool chord in, it's just not, it doesn't seem to work right. A seems to work best all the way through that. So we're just going to have to go with that. And, you know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like, sorry, it just, I realized that the way I said that, it was kind of like, not at all. We're going to go with that because it sounds the best. It's simple and it's basic and it's in the key of A major. It's the A major chord. Like, couldn't get more simple than that. That's just, that's the chord for that key. That's the big one. But it fits. So, like I said, as much as I'd like to add some really fun, interesting, wacky chord, the most basic chord for this key, A major, works and sounds the best. So we're going to go with it. Then we get to the last part, which is the first part again. So that. So there we are. That is Old MacDonald's with the melody, with chords sprinkled throughout it, and how I came up with that. How I came up with the chords that go with it. Okay? There are other options, like we talked about, like we just did for the part. Totally fits. C sharp minor. Does it? No, D was the one we were talking about. So, fits, fits, fits. So we had three options for that A part, and we went with the A major chord because that seemed to work the best, at least to me. But like I said, there are other options. You could go through and put in all kinds of different chords. So let me just really kind of quickly talk about, sort of sum everything up, how this all worked. Okay, we started with a melody, Old MacDonald. It already existed. That's it. That's how Old MacDonald goes. If I went, that's not Old MacDonald. Old MacDonald goes, that's it. So we have a melody, and it was already there. It exists. It's a song. It's a melody. So we have a melody. We figured out what notes it uses, and that gave us what key we were in. A major. So we're in the key of A major. Now we just start fitting notes in the melody that are already there with chords that those notes fit with. So that's it. So really simple. It's almost like, do you remember, like, sometimes you have that game, or played that game, or seen that game, where it's like a little flat table with holes in it that are shapes. There's like a square, there's a triangle, there's a circle. There might be lots, there might be stars, there might be things like that. And you have to fit the blocks into the correct holes. So the square hole, the block that's a square goes in. The circle hole, the block that's circular, fits in. The triangle fits in. That's all we're doing here. We have a note at the very beginning of the song, that A note, and we say, okay, what chord fits there? We have usually we have three basic options, so we pick one of the three that we like. So A. We could have gone with a different chord. We could have gone with a D chord, an F sharp minor chord, an A major chord. All of those would fit with that note. So we just picked the one that we like the best. Okay? So it would be like that table with the shapes. If you have a square and the square fits, you might want to put a blue square in, you might want to put a green square in, you might want to put a red square in. You can choose one of those because all three fit. You just pick the one you like the best. That's all we did. So we have a melody, Old MacDonald, and we just took the notes and put chords where we thought it sounded good. And that's it. Simple. So, hopefully that makes sense. And I'm sure we'll go over other things similar to this, just to get you understanding how notes go together, how chords go together, how it all kind of fits together. And hopefully then that makes more sense out of just music in general. Just sort of the whole thing. That's it. So, Old MacDonald, if I can remember all the stuff, but I'll write it out, type it out. There. Isn't that lovely?